Hey there, everyone. My name is Eric Richards, and I run a real estate brokerage in Colorado Springs. Now, don't tune out. This is going to be a really great video in terms of helping you understand what does it cost to live in Colorado Springs. And I'm going to analyze this from three different angles. First, single-family homes. Second, townhomes, condos. And third, yes, apartments or rental apartments. And I think that some of the single-family rental information that's in here will help you as well if you're considering renting a single-family home. So let's dive into the data, and I will keep this as brief as possible. In terms of the associated cost for living in Colorado Springs, we're going to analyze a loan scenario using bankrate.com. And I think that's a pretty good public portal for determining what an average mortgage might be. Obviously, full disclosure, I'm not a licensed mortgage broker. I am not going to be quoting APR on this. I am simply using what a website might translate to you in terms of down payment and what your payment might be. You'll notice I'm not quoting interest rates because those are borrower specific. That's important. So the most common question I get asked is, what is the average price of a home in Colorado Springs? $532,000 as of last month. What is the average price of a townhome or condo in Colorado Springs? $364,000, again, as of April of 2023.
So we've got bankrate.com pulled up. Let's run through this calculation on how I arrived at the mortgage payment. So we've got our average sales price of a home in Colorado Springs, $532,000, our down payment, our term, an interest rate. Again, I'm not a licensed mortgage broker, so I'm not going to be quoting APR on this. I'm just using a public portal to help you understand how I arrived at these payments to understand the cost of living in Colorado Springs. Use the zip code in Colorado Springs. So over here, we have those figures are for later, $2,620. That's just your principal and interest. Let's plug in those numbers later when we come back after we discover how I arrived at the average property tax for a home, the average homeowner's insurance, and the average utility bill. Let's do a townhome. $364,000. There's our term, our down payment, zip code. $1,792. Again, just principal and interest on the average price townhome in Colorado Springs.
Property taxes. Property taxes are one of those things that varies widely from home to home, and condo to condo. Typically with older homes, keep this in mind, the assessed values are largely based on comparable sales in the area. With new construction, there might also be something called special taxing district at work as well, in addition to the comparables. If all the new construction homes are selling for $600 to $650, and you see a home next door that was built 25 years ago, and it's only selling for $450, that's not a fair comparison in terms of trying to establish your property tax rate or your valuation. Also, your neighborhood still may be paying a special tax that was set up by the county in order to help build the infrastructure for the developer of your neighborhood. So keep that in mind. Generally speaking, our property tax rates are very affordable and very low compared to other cities of our size across the nation. A lot of this is due to the Gallagher Act that was actually repealed in the last voting cycle. But prior to that, it basically said that only a certain portion of the state's income could come for property taxes. So that kept our rates lower. That means that our mill levy rates also went down as well. In El Paso County, you will only get one property tax bill, unlike other cities in other parts of the country where you may see a school tax, a county tax, a town tax, maybe even a neighborhood tax. Colorado Springs just has the county tax. Now, you will still get a notice each year, and typically around February, letting you know that if you're part of an escrow setup, that your escrow servicer will probably deposit that payment on their behalf. And it's not uncommon to look on your escrow statement and see that the payment was split up into two, partially paid in February and partially paid in June. If you are a self-pay individual, like let's say you put down 40% on your home, or you own your home outright and you're paying your taxes on your own, then you will get that same option. You'll get the bill in February and you'll have the option to pay half in February and half in June, or pay it all in full by April. So keep that in mind. As I am reporting these average rates, it's very tough for me as a real estate agent to go through, say, 500 listings, write down the property tax information for all of them, and then come up with an average. So I basically used a block of pricing that surrounded the average sales price and picked off the top 5 and picked off the bottom 5 and then averaged them together to come up with this number. The average property tax rate for a single family home of around $532,000 using even new construction is about $1,790 or $1,790 per year. In your escrow, that will be broken up and divided by 12 in order to add into your monthly payment. So go back to that monthly payment number and then add in that $1,790 and divide it by 12. Again, I will recap all this at the end. Insurance. According to a local mortgage broker, what he is seeing in terms of annual premiums being assessed by insurance companies for the average sales price home that I quoted is about $2,200 a year. Now, you can obviously impact your homeowner's insurance rate by doing a couple of things. One, taking a different deductible. Two, making sure that your insurance history is squeaky clean. And by that, I mean not a bunch of claims. If your car has been broken into 3 or 4 times and you've made claims and you owned a home before this and you made a roof claim, you will pay a higher premium for insurance because the insurance company is viewing that as a risk. Average price per square foot is about $220 per square. That's the value. Fun fact, when I started off in real estate, the average price per square foot was right around $80 a square. So things have moved up rapidly. What about rental homes? According to rentable.com, the average single family home rent in Colorado Springs is around $2,250. According to rent.com, a studio apartment rents for around $1,037 a month. A 1-bedroom apartment rents for about $1,185, and a 2-bed rents for around $1,785. These are apartments. The tougher data to pull in is the rental rates for condos and townhomes. We tend to look at those only through our MLS data or private places where you can view rental homes or rental properties that are listed by individual owners. Lastly, utility costs. Utilities are always the big thing that really swings affordability in one direction or another. When you work in a community or live in Colorado Springs, where we have homes that started being built in, say, the late 1800s, all the way up to new construction, you're running into at least a dozen revisions of the building code. You're running into different builders' interpretation of how they want to make their homes more energy efficient. And then, of course, there's homeowner modifications. Did they blow in more insulation? Did they update the windows? Did they change the siding? All these things really play a dramatic role in the monthly utility costs that one might experience. So how did I go about this? Basically, I contacted previous clients, took a informal survey of what their monthly utility bills were. Some of them were kind enough to send me screenshots. And what I was able to determine for the average priced home in Colorado Springs, that the monthly utility bill added up to about $4,100 a year. When you divide that by 12, you'll see that the monthly cost for utilities is right around $345. Another note about utilities, keep in mind that we have 7 water providers. We have 2 natural gas providers and 3 electric providers, kind of all within the Colorado Springs area. That's all the way from Monument down to Fountain, out to the western edge and off to the eastern edge. And no, you don't get to pick your water provider or your electric provider. It's assigned to the property. But these rates can vary widely, especially for water. One of the most affordable water districts in the city is Security Widefield Water. I always joke with clients down there that you can make a rainforest in your front yard if you want to, and it's not going to cost you as much as, say, living 15 minutes north in the Colorado Springs utilities area. Obviously, there's a seasonality in the summer when air conditioning is on, and then during the winter when you're running a lot more gas and electric because the days are shorter and it's colder out. The shoulder seasons are obviously more affordable because air conditioning isn't on and you're not having to run your furnace as much. With a townhome or a condo or an apartment or a rental situation like that, we expect to see the cost much lower, especially when you're one of those inside units where you have a property on one side and a property on the other, or perhaps you live in a condominium unit. We have a lot of these in Colorado Springs where it's upper, middle, and lower. And you are insulated typically on all 4 sides except your exterior side where your front door is. And so your utility rates are much lower. According to Energy Resource Council, which is a local nonprofit, as well as a few other websites, I was able to glean some information of somewhere between $175 and $200 a month. So I'm going to go conservative and use $200 a month to calculate that utility cost for you. You can also carry these costs over to single family rental homes and use that $4,100 number if you're renting a home, say in Stetson Hills or Briargate or Pine Creek or something like that. Now, let's recap and put this all together. What does it cost to live in Colorado Springs from the standpoint of a single family home? And we're just using a purchase scenario here.
Let's plug in those actual costs that we generated. And I'm going to use some of these boxes on the right-hand side to help generate the composite monthly payment. And I'm going to substitute some of the labels for those, but I'll identify that. So let's start off with a single family home, $532,000. We have our average property tax, $150 a month. We have our homeowners insurance, $184 a month. And I'm going to use the HOA column to illustrate utilities. And that's $345. You can see that your monthly payment on a single family home, including utilities, again, you're not making that utility payment to the mortgage company, but that's $3,299, or about $3,300. So let's do townhomes now and condos. And in our purchase price, down payment, term. Let's go over here. Let's do property tax. $83. Homeowners insurance. Again, we're going to use HOA here in this column to illustrate this amount. $296 was our average. And we're going to keep that insurance number out of there because we talked about how the walls in insurance policy in previous videos is more or less a liability policy that's contained within there. Some of those premiums range in cost from $20 to $60 a month, depending on how much liability coverage you want to incur. And so let's put in just a little bit. We'll put in $35 a month. And then utility costs, we're going to put that into the PMI category of $200 a month. So you can see that the average price townhome or condo in Colorado Springs is going to have a combined monthly payment with utilities of about $2,406. So hopefully that puts some of these calculations into perspective when you compare them against the cost of renting a home versus buying a home.
So that's your kind of all-in cost to live here. Gasoline right now compared to the nation, I feel like we're a little bit higher priced. As of the middle of May, we're hovering at gas prices of around $3.50. Go a little bit further north into Denver proper, you might see prices around $3.20. Go down into Colorado Springs, it's maybe on the south end, closer to $3.10 to $3.19 a gallon. So just some other helpful information to keep that in mind. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully this is helpful. And if you have any questions at all, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to kind of clarify where I got the math from and how I came up with the speakers. Thanks again for watching the video.